Hello and welcome back to my channel. So it is time for another weekly reading vlog. So today is Sunday and I do have some plans. So my nan and granddad are coming over and Dave is going driving my granddad, and my nan and I are going to go to the coffee shop and hopefully get a coffee and possibly a cake. And then later on tonight we do have D&D, but in the meantime I plan to do some reading. So I do have two books that I'm going to be reading. The first one is on my Kindle. It doesn't have a cover because it is an ARC. So this is The Roommate Rule by Georgia Stone, and this is due to be released on the 21st of May, so I'm really hoping that I can get this finished before then and post my review. But this is the second book in a series and it follows two characters, Dylan and Max, and they are, so Max is sort of like a lifestyle blogger type person, and he is going away to this resort in Wales to do some promotion for it, and Dylan ends up going with him. So she goes, so she's his sister's best friend. She ends up going with him for a little bit of a break, a little bit of a holiday, and they don't know each other very well and they have to share very close quarters during this time. And it follows on from the friendship fling, and that is such a good book. I ARC read that when it was independently published. It had a different title. It was called Collision of Stars, and now it's called The Friendship Fling. It's been traditionally published and I loved it. And so this is following two characters that were in that book, so I'm really looking forward to getting into this. I'm only about 18-20% of the way through, so it's really just starting out. We're just getting introduced to the characters and the situation, but it's already sort of made me laugh a few times. There's a few little bits. I just love the way that she writes, so I'm really looking forward to get more into that. And then the second book that I will be reading is a library book, and that is Scythe by Shusterman. I haven't actually started it yet. I've got my bookmark in there ready to start, but I just wanted to get this read this week. So this is about nobody can die. The world has advanced enough that nobody can die, and the only way to die and to deal with overpopulation is to be gleaned by a scythe. So this follows two apprentice scythes as they are figuring out how to become a scythe, and it doesn't seem to be all that it should be. So yeah, I'm really interested in reading this. It is YA. It's one that I've seen a lot of people read, and I'm looking forward to getting into it. So those are the two books that I'll be reading this week so far. I'm not sure how well this vlog is going to go because it's a very busy time for work at the moment, and I do have to be out with work a few times this week, and then I do have plans on Friday, so we'll see how this goes. And it'll either be a little bit of a shorter vlog because there's not much going on, or I might extend it slightly and just have a slightly longer vlog, but I will play it by ear and see how we get on during the week. It's now 5:20. I went out with my nan and had the nicest tiramisu, and we've just been chilling while Dave's been watching some racing. I've been reading some of my books, so I am now 30% of the way through this. I've read another just over 10%, and I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, so they are on this sort of holiday getaway, and there's lots of activities that they're doing, and Dylan, the female main character, has basically said, I want some ground rules, which are, you're really messy, can you please tidy up after yourself, and also not be topless in the communal areas, kind of thing. And he keeps flirting with her, and she keeps thinking that he's joking and that he's not serious about it, but yeah, that's happening, but nothing major has happened yet. But I got myself a coffee. So this is a caramel latte, and we've got about an hour and a half until we're playing D&D tonight. So I'm going to lock in and try and get a good chunk read. And also I have Rosie next to me. Hi. So yeah, Rosie and I are going to hang out here for a little bit, and we to try and get a good way through this. I'd love to get to 50% halfway through today, but just depends how quickly I'm able to read it, because it doesn't, the arc hasn't given me pages, like page numbers, so I don't know how long it actually is, so I'm not sure really how long it'll take, but I'm really enjoying it so far. I love Georgia's writing style. She's really funny. There's lots of jokes. All of the chapter headings are really funny as well, just like in the Friendship Fling. It's quite similar, which is one that I really enjoyed. So I'm just looking forward to them interacting a bit more and seeing where it goes. So just quickly filming this before I get myself into bed for the evening, because it is now 10:10 and I have work tomorrow. But I did manage to get to 50% of the way through, so I'm really enjoying it so far. They have kissed and the tension is starting to build, and I'm just really enjoying it. The two main characters are really great, and I really like the dynamic between the two of them. I will just say, as a brief trigger warning, there are mentions of health and things like that. So the main character had cancer. He doesn't currently have it, but there are mentions of that throughout this. So if that is something that you find difficult to read, I probably wouldn't recommend it, or at least check, because there are a couple. I think there was like brief trigger warnings, but that's the one really that I've noticed so far. But yeah, I'm really liking it. I think it's really fun. I was there at this sort of resort, like, and they're all in like huts and they're doing activities, so it's really fun to read about all the different activities they've been doing. So they've been doing like kayaking, and they would cliff diving and stuff like that, so it's just been really fun to read that. And then they were swimming in the sea, so that's been quite nice. And yeah, as I said, they have kissed for the first time at 50% of the way through, and then it's like, oh, we shouldn't do this, I had rules. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where the rest of this goes. It's now Monday and I am just about to start work for the week, but I thought I'd give you a little bit of an update. So I am 62% of the way through the roommate rule now, and I'm still really enjoying it. The romance has definitely started to pick up and I'm living for it. I love the dynamic between the two of them. So she's really sort of organised. She likes to know what's going on, and she's very independent. She doesn't like to get help from anybody, and he is so chilled and chaotic and just doesn't really care. And when it comes to her, he is there to step up, and he's like, you don't need to do things alone, and he'll help her out with things. So I'm really liking that, and just seeing them sort of get closer has just been really fun. So I'm really looking forward to seeing where the rest of this takes me. I'm hoping that I can get a lot of it done and potentially have it finished maybe tomorrow, because the rest of the week is going to be really busy. It would be really great to get this done. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's just really cute, and just seeing them together just been really nice, and seeing it all build up. So yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing. I'm all snug on the armchair with my blanket, and I don't know what it is, but it's really, really cold, so I'm all cozy. But I finished my book. I finished The Roommate Rule, and I am giving it 4 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was so cute. Max and Dylan were just the cutest. I loved Dylan, and I loved her finding herself and sort of realising what she wants and not being afraid to ask for it, even if she doesn't think that she'll get it. And it was just really, really cute. And then the epilogue just got me. 4 stars, 4.5 I think, but I don't tend to do half stars, so yeah. It was just so good. I really liked the setting, obviously with Wales. There was lots of nice things like adventuring and like women, all that kind of stuff. They had a picnic, which was really cute. There was, as typical in romance books, there was sort of like a third act breakup, but I think it worked really well because they came back together and communicated, and they discussed the issues and got it resolved, rather than it just being like a big gesture. Like they genuinely like talked, and Max was like, yeah, this is why I was doing this is why I felt that way. And I really, really liked that, because I feel like for the most part they really communicated with each other, and that was just really good, because I hate miscommunication quite a lot. So yeah, it was really good. And then seeing the characters from the friendship fling was just really cute, because they're the best. And I don't want to say any spoilers, but that epilogue just got me for multiple reasons, not just for this book but for that one too. So yeah, I can't say that you would absolutely need to read The Friendship Fling. I had to think about it then, because I always think about it as Collision of Stars, but it's not called that anymore. So I don't think you would need to read The Friendship Fling to read this one, but it just adds so much more to do that. So I would highly recommend. Yes, I need to pick a new Kindle book, but I think I'm going to leave that till tomorrow, and I might do some reading of Scythe. I have started it, but I think I've read like 3 chapters. Where am I at? Page 39, currently about to start chapter 3. So not a whole bunch has happened so far. We've just kind of been introduced to the 2 characters, Citra and Rowan. So we've just seen, we've had a chapter of them, and just obviously discussed what Scythes are, what this whole situation is. So I'm looking forward to getting into this a bit more. So I might get myself up into bed and make a crack in this. It's now Tuesday, and I have been busy at work, so it's nearly the end of my lunchtime, so I thought I'd just quickly pop in and tell you that I have been making progress on Scythe. I'm now on page 77, 6 chapters in, so I'm still not fully into it yet. But the 2 main characters, Citra and Rowan, are now officially starting their journey as apprentice scythes and learning what happens when you become a scythe. And I also really like that at the beginning of each chapter it gives you a little bit of information on scythes, and there's it's from the gleaning journal, so it's somebody's gleaning journal, so it gives you some context into scythes, which I'm finding really interesting. And I've got to part 2, so that surprised me. I didn't realise it was split up into different parts, and yeah, I'm not too far into it at all, but I am enjoying it overall, and I'm hoping that I can get some more of this read a little bit later. I am working late tonight, so I will see if I get to, and then I am in the office tomorrow, and then we've got loads of busy stuff going on. So yeah, just thought I'd pop in really quickly and let you know. So it's nearly 9 o'clock, and I'm going to get myself upstairs shortly to have a shower and get myself into bed, because I'm in the office tomorrow and it's a really busy day. So I thought I would just tell you I have been reading Scythe. I'm now 153 pages in, and I'm really enjoying this. So obviously it is a YA, but like, it deals with some stuff. Like, obviously it talks a lot about and not describes explicitly, but has a lot of mentions of like death and people being killed in not the nicest of ways. But I really like the two characters, Citra and Rowan, and obviously they're learning how their apprentice sites are learning about how it all works, and we're starting to see some not so great things with other Scythe. And there is, as I mentioned at the beginning of each chapter, there's like extracts from the Scythe gleaning journals, and that's also given us a bit more context. So I've just got to a part where they are going to go for their first sort of test to see how they're getting on, because they learn so much stuff to become a Scythe. So yeah, pleasantly surprised. I'm not sure what to expect, but I am really enjoying it, and it's quite, even though it seems like it's quite long, quite fast to read, and that's really good. Like, it's got, the text is quite big considering. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and you know, I'm only 153 pages in, so it's not fully into the story yet, but I'm intrigued to see how it goes, especially after it says on the back that they find out the one has to glean the other. So I mean, that hasn't been mentioned yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing why that is, because at the moment that's not the case. It's one of them will become a Scythe and the other one has to go back to their family. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see why that's the case. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting into that some more. And then, because I finished the Roommate Rule, I have picked another Kindle book. Perfect timing. I didn't even realise, but I will be reading A Parade of Horribles, which is the 8th book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series by Matt Dinniman. So I have actually been really looking forward to this, but I read them all on Kindle Unlimited, so I was waiting for it to become available so that I could read it, and then I only realised the days are just getting away from me. So it wasn't until this morning when I was seeing all over like Instagram and TikTok that it was released. I was like, oh yeah, it's today. So I've downloaded that. I haven't started it yet, but I'm really looking forward to getting into it. So the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, it feels like it's everywhere. It feels like everybody knows what this book is about, but obviously this is the 8th one in the series. I actually haven't read the synopsis, so I don't know what happens in this, other than I'm assuming a parade of horrible. But the Dungeon Crawler Carl series is about a man named Carl, and he has recently broken up with his girlfriend, but he still has her cat, and he is smoking out of his window. So he has a window open a crack. He's smoking out of it because he doesn't want to get like cigarette smoke near the cat. And for some bizarre reason, the cat, who is called Princess Donut, jumps out of the window. So it's about 2 o'clock in the morning, and he is just shocked. He's just wearing a pair of boxers and a t-shirt, so he grabs a leather jacket and puts on a pair of his ex's pink Crocs and runs outside to try and get Donut back in. When he does this, the whole world collapses. So everything just flattens, and there is basically this alien sort of entity that comes and talks to everybody and basically says, you have two choices. You either go down, we've created these stairs and all these stairs open up. You go down into these stairs and you join what is called the world dungeon, or you can stay on the surface of the planet and try and survive. But obviously there's nothing, no buildings, no cars, everything's been flattened, and anyone in those things at that time is also dead. So only people who were outside at the time have survived. And it's winter. He's wearing a pair of boxers, a leather jacket, and some pink Crocs. So he grabs the cat, Princess Donut, and decides to go down into this dungeon. And that is what this is about. So typically each book follows a floor in the dungeon. So apart from the first book, I think is 2 floors, and then typically it's 1 floor per book. But I think so, yes, I'm really looking forward to getting into this. I absolutely love the series. I think I gave the first one 5 stars and every other book 4 stars. Just that is really good for me. and they're just brilliant, and Princess Donut is the best, and I tell everybody to read these books. So I've even got my brother's been listening to the audiobooks of it, and I pester him all the time asking for updates on what he thought of it. My sister's boyfriend, I've been saying he needs to read them. I did try and get Dave to read them, but he's like, yeah. So I'm really looking forward to it. I haven't started it yet, but I have downloaded it. But I think because I'm in the office tomorrow, I'll be commuting in, I will hopefully get a little bit of this read, because I'm not sure if I will take Scythe with me, so I would definitely take my Kindle. But yeah, I'm not sure how much filming I'll actually get done tomorrow, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to at least check in with you either before I leave or when I get back. So yeah, and then Thursday is my insanely busy day at work, so we will play that by ear. Yeah, I'm going to go and get myself all sorted. I need to pack everything for the office tomorrow, and I will check in with you in the morning, hopefully. So it's now Wednesday morning. I have just got myself ready. I will be going into the office soon, and I'm not sure how much film I'm going to get done today, so I thought I'd at least come in and check in with you. So I have started A Parade of Horribles, the 8th book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. But I haven't read loads. So at the very beginning there is a recap of the previous book, but it's kind of built into the book. So one of the characters gives it to another character, which I really liked, because then it didn't just feel like you were just getting information for no reason. And it's also helpful because it's been a little while since I read it, and so I've got the information, but it doesn't feel like I've had to sit there and read what's happened. So I've read that, and then there was like an interlude, and I read then the first chapter, but I'm 41 pages in, so a good amount considering I just read it when I went to bed last night, and it's really just setting everything up. Each book kind of starts with a new level in the dungeon, so we're now going into level 10, so it's just setting up getting into that, and there's some things that people need to do at the beginning and kind of introducing what that level is going to be, because most of them have some kind of theme in a sense. So yeah, I have made a start on this, which is really great, and I will be reading this on my commute in, and then possibly when I'm coming back, depending on how tired I am. So it's now 8:20. I have only been home for about an hour and 20 minutes, and we've had something to eat, and I've just been chilling in the living room, decompressing from the day because it's been very busy today. But I thought I'd give you an update. So I did actually manage to get some reading done. So I did read some more of A Parade of Horribles during my commute. I am just up to chapter 7, and I'm about 83 pages in, so I'm not super far into it, and I think I'd got to chapter 2, so I managed to read a decent amount. There were a few shorter chapters. I've managed to read a couple of chapters, which was quite surprising because I didn't think that I'd get much read. Yes, I managed to do that. It's still setting up exactly how the sort of level is going to work. So this seems like it's going to follow a series of races. They all have vehicles of some sort and need to race, but it hasn't fully explained everything yet, so I'm still getting to grips with how it all works. But I'm really excited to be back with Carl and Donut, and just seeing what they're going to get up to, what trouble they are going to cause during this level. And obviously I can't say too much about it because it is the 8th book in a series, but I just really like these books. I think Matt Dinniman is really, really funny. The humour in it's really good, and it also pairs really childish sort of like boy humour and things like that with actually really important messages and really deep and meaningful things. And I really like that. There's been a lot of pop culture references throughout the series, so there has been mentions of like Gilmore Girls and Gossip Girl and things like that, and obviously plenty of other pop culture references, but those are some of my favourite ones. And yeah, I really enjoy these books, which I didn't think that I would, considering, especially when you look at like the covers, like especially these ones on the Kindle, they look to me like what I would just call like boy books. Books that teenage boys would read, those kind of things, but they're so much more than that. And that is, as I said, that silly teen funny goofy humour, but then there's like in the 1 second and then the next second there's something really deep happening, something really emotional, and you think you might cry, and it's about a guy and his cat. And so it's just, yeah, I think it's just so clever, they're so good, and I'm really looking forward to getting more into this. But with work being really busy, I'm not sure how much I'm going to feel like it, because I want to really pay attention to this. I don't want to be skimming or anything. So depending on how I feel, I might read more of Scythe tonight. But a few things I need to sort out ready for tomorrow, and then I think I'm going to get myself into bed and have a little bit of an early night read. But I think I might read Scythe instead, because of it being a YA. I think it's just going to be a little bit easier for me to read rather this, but I'm sure that I'll get too much read. And then tomorrow is my busy, really super important day, but I will try and at least check in tomorrow, and we will play it by ear, see how it goes. But yeah, for now I think I'm just going to leave it there and go and relax. So it's now Thursday and I am going to be heading out to work soon. My work colleague is going to very kindly pick me up and have a very, very busy day at work. So I thought really quickly I would give you an update on my reading. So I didn't read any more of Dungeon Crawler Carl last night. I just knew I wouldn't be able to fully concentrate on it. I didn't want to miss anything, because I find with those books that even though it's silly, funny, goofy things happening, there's a lot in the subplot, there's a lot of hints, there's loads of things like that I just did not want to miss. So I picked back up Scythe, and I've just got to part 3 and I am 185 pages in, and I'm still really enjoying this. It's just got to a part that has really intrigued me and I wasn't expecting it at all. So Citra and Rowan have now been told that they unfortunately have to compete properly. So they had a test and Rowan sort of sabotaged himself to not make Citra feel bad, and the other Scythes noticed this, so they basically said, right, to prevent that and to ensure that the correct person and the right person gets this role, we are now saying that the person who becomes a Scythe has to glean the other. That is their first job as a Scythe, is to glean the competitor, which means the stakes are a lot higher. So that obviously it was mentioned on the back, so I don't feel like that's really a spoiler, but it's just taken a little bit of time to sort of clarify that. But then it has started to pick up, and it's predominantly sort of from Citra and Rowan showing what they're doing, but then it also shows other Scythes throughout the time and what they're doing and who they're gleaning and how they're doing that, along with snippets from side journals. So they're gleaning journals, I think that's what they're called. Yeah, the gleaning journal. And it is really showing that although this is supposed to be a system that is completely random, it's not meant to be, you're not meant to be picking specific people to glean, and it's all meant to be very morally correct. That is not the case. There are definitely some Scythes that are corrupt. They are mass gleaning when they shouldn't be. They should just be picking select people and picking people specifically for things that they want rather than sort of randomizing it. But that's not being addressed by the higher ups at the moment. It's kind of just being hinted at, so we're aware that it's happening, and I'm really intrigued to see how this will impact the rest of the story. But I'm still really enjoying it. I'm not anticipating that I'm going to get much reading done at all today, but we shall see. So it is Friday evening. It is very close to being Saturday. It's 11:10, and this is actually the first time I'm checking in at all today. So see, yesterday I was extremely busy. I didn't get home until 12 o'clock at night, and then I slept, and then I didn't start work until a little bit later. But then I was still really busy. Like, there's still quite a bit that I had to do, catching up on that. And then after work we went to a 60s event at a local museum, so that's why I look like this. But obviously it has been an evening, so it's all rubbing off. But I thought I would quickly check in, so I'm just going to quickly check in and say I have been reading a little bit more. Scythe, not much though, I think maybe a chapter or two. So I'm on page 228, and I am still really enjoying this. Scythe and Rowan are now separate, so they're no longer under the same Scythe, but their punishment of the two of them having to compete against each other is still a thing. So now it's just showing how two separate Scythes that they're with, what they're like as Scythes, and how they glean people and the different teaching methods. So that's been really interesting. But yeah, I haven't read too much, but I think I must be about halfway now. So I'm thinking that I can get this done weekend. I haven't read any more of Dungeon Crawler Carl at the moment, but I'm definitely going to start picking that up now because things have quietened down a bit. So I will read that this weekend and get a good chunk of it done. I just wanted to check in because this is the one and only day that I hadn't checked in. And what I'm going to do is tomorrow morning I will just do a quick roundup of what I've read and all that stuff and finish out the vlog. So it's now Saturday morning and I'm feeling a little bit worse for wear. I am very tired, but I just thought I would quickly come and wrap up the vlog and just talk about what I've read, what I'm reading, round it all up. So I actually managed to finish a book in this vlog, which surprised me because I didn't think that I would manage that. So I did manage to finish The Roommate Rule by Georgia Stone, and I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really funny. I thought it was really cute. I really liked the dynamic between the two characters. I liked that they actually communicated with each other, and yes, there was a bit of conflict, but it was resolved in what I thought was a very realistic way. So I gave that 4 stars. Then there are 2 books that I did not finish, but I still managed to read a good chunk. So that is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I am 228 pages in, and I believe I'm now around 50% of the way through, so that's really good. And again, enjoying this. It's really interesting. I wasn't sure what to expect when I went into it, but it's definitely giving me a lot more than I thought it would. I'm really intrigued to see how the rest of it will play out. I'm really interested to see what's going on. It seems like there's corruption with the son of the Scythe. I would like to see how that goes. Will Scythe and Rowan be able to get out of their situation of having to one of them having to glean the other? I hope so. And yeah, so I think I will probably make this the priority and get this finished, just because it also needs to go back to the library, so it'd be good to get this one done. And then small progress, but I am still reading A Parade of Horribles, which is the 8th book of Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I'm about 12% of the way through this, so not much progress on this. I read 1 chapter last night before I absolutely crashed. So really, I'm quite proud of that. 1 book read and then 1 book I'm 50% of the way through. So considering how busy it's been, I'm really glad that I managed to do any reading at all. So thank you so much for watching this weekly reading vlog, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.